When I was young, I always kind of had the feeling that I was a little bit different. I didn't like to fit in. I like to, stand out, a little bit quirky, a little bit unique. And I feel like the G-Class is kind of a reflection of that too. I'm Lindsay Edwards. I grew up in Brandon, Manitoba in Canada. It's definitely my home. All my friends and family are still here. Although I travel for work a lot, this is definitely my home base. I live in a house in right in town with my fiance Trevor, our 2 dogs, Dylan and Aspen, our cat Richard, and then I have my 2 horses as well, Carmen and Marcia. I know it sounds like I have an ordinary life, but I've always felt like I stand out a little bit, and maybe that's because of the G-Class and how much it resonates with me. It was, and probably still is, the only one in my small town. I grew up just kind of on a hobby farm, just like south of town. My parents were middle class, working family. We definitely put all of our focus into the horses and, being just a typical rural family.
So this is my parents' farm where I grew up. We're gonna be here today grabbing my horse and heading out for a ride with my sister.
My passion for horses has definitely been inherited. It was passed down, my grandparents rode, my parents rode, and now me and my sister do. So it's, something that's definitely transcended the generations. I also inherited a fascination of vehicles from my family as well. My dad's very mechanical. They were always into North American-made cars primarily, and something that was different was Mercedes and the G-Class, and that was something that wasn't very common or prevalent here. So it's something that sparked my fascination as far as, standing out and being a little bit different. The first time I saw a G-Class was when I was younger, looking through magazines and on the internet and stuff like that, and seeing it in a different world that was so much different from the way that I grew up, right? Like, it's so unique, it's so eye-catching, it's so different. I was just like, I want to know more about it. So I ended up, just researching it, looking into it more, like finding out the history of it. Once I looked into it a little bit more, I was just like, wow, like that's a lot of money. And at the time I was a student. Maybe that's just a dream. Maybe that's just, a goal, something to focus on. When I was a young adult, teenager, I had a lot of ups and downs. And part of working through that was setting goals for myself to help, move forward, help keep me motivated, help keep me going. And one of those goals was having a G-Class, being able to drive one, being able to own one. That was, one of my goals, and it felt very lofty at the time, but I've never been one for small goals. So I just kind of, put it out there into the universe and just, kept working towards it. After I finished schooling, I went through and became an environmental coordinator. A lot of my friends, went into nursing or teaching or, jobs that, kept them close to home. I just kind of had the drive to do something different. I'm definitely one of the very few women that work out there. It's predominantly male dominated. It can be a little bit tough. It's very challenging at times, but it's also very rewarding. It definitely, it gives me kind of like a sense of pride to work in an industry where women haven't really been a part of throughout history. So to be kind of the change and kind of like, lead from example, like, even in the past couple of years, there's been way more women enter the field. So it's just really refreshing to see and to, kind of have that transition. The moment I kind of knew I was gonna buy it was right before my 30th birthday. You know, there had been a few ups and downs that year, and I said, you know what, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it now. And I found that one, and I was like, it's perfect. It's mine. I bought a 2014 AMG G63. It's white with the black interior.
When the G-Class first arrived, it was dropped off and I was away at work, so I didn't get to see it get dropped off. So it was unloaded and Trevor picked it up and he was sending me just sounds of it like running and just all the, you know, all the fun iconic things that it's known for.
My brother-in-law, who's also a huge car guy, he happened to be, you know, just cruising around town that day, and he sends me a picture of this, you know, white G-Wagon on this truck, and he's just like, hey, like, you know, made a joke like, hey, like, look, it's a G-Wagon or whatever, and I said, hey, like, that's mine, and he's like, no. And he didn't even believe that it was mine until I actually got it home. I was so excited when I saw it at first. It was like, wow, like I've had this goal for so long. I've been focused on something for, you know, years and years and years, and this is something that I thought was completely unattainable for someone like me. And then, you know, I see this thing in my driveway and it's like, it's mine. I'll never forget the first time when I started it up. It was fun. It was just, yeah, it was all of the emotions. The G-Class is definitely my dream car. Like, has always been, will always be. A lot of people ask me what I like about it, and honestly, like, I don't know where to start. Like, I love, you know, everything about it, from the styling to its capabilities. It's like, it's just phenomenal. When I drive the G-Class, it definitely, yeah, it gives me a feeling of freedom. You know, there's no limit. I don't have to hold back. I use my G-Class for pretty much everything. It's my daily driver. With the horses, it's good to have it. It's very, yeah, it's reliable, it's safe, it's dependable. I know that I'm not gonna, you know, break down on the side of the road with a trailer full of horses. The biggest thing I want to do is I want to be able to travel throughout the rest of North America. I've seen a lot of Western Canada. I'd like to do all through the US as well. I'd like to one day, hopefully, attend the G-Wagon Rally in Las Vegas. There's a lot of parallels between driving the G-Class and riding my horses. They evoke the same feelings of freedom, the feeling of, you know, power. Like, riding my horses is, you know, it's my passion first and foremost. I can just kind of be myself.
People have an expectation of what kind of jobs women should work, what kind of hobbies women should have, and I always kind of felt that I was a little bit different. All the decisions I've made in my life so far have turned me into the person that I am today. I do fit in, but I also stand out, and I feel like that's a good thing.